are you excited? Jack, what's the word that you would use to describe how you're feeling
for
right
doing
now?
Big Red overreaction or for the game?
I would just say the day at large. You know, what could
I'm very
potentially
excited
be
for the game
on paper for
Yeah,
you
like,
tonight?
I mean, I think what I said at the beginning kind of goes to that. I'm excited to watch a game where it feels like the pressure is off, and I think they're focusing, and this fan base is focusing on the right place, which is externally, not internally right now for a rivalry game, and they're calling it that. So, no, I am super excited about the game tonight. Hopefully, really hopeful they win it. That's kind of the big thing, but in terms of the post game, but I can't wait to see it. I think they're going to win. Like, I'll eat my words, obviously, if I'm wrong on this, but I think they're going to go in there and win this game today. So I feel good about it. Weirdly.
Yeah, and so this is what I was setting up a few minutes ago, Jack. I think this is it's an interesting matchup for all of the normal reasons. But if Dana Holgorsen is going to be Nebraska's offensive coordinator moving forward, this is kind of that first of the Big Ten tests, if you will, of like playing in a cold weather environment, calling plays for a cold weather environment, because I feel like tonight could go one of two ways on the post-game show that you'll be involved with, and that's like one of them is, oh my gosh, this offense can be good in this league. Look at, he called all these plays, and you can do X, Y, and Z if you have a good play caller. Or the other, I mean, couldn't you just see a phone call or two? Holgorsen, he's got to adjust. He's got to adjust to Big Ten weather. He can't run this offense in Lincoln and expect to win. So like what kind of game plan he's dialing up tonight versus Iowa, I think is going to be interesting, whether it's for the narrative reasons like the ones that I just mentioned, or just the obvious ones of, okay, we saw a huge jump from week 1 to week 2. Do we see a similar jump from week 2 to week 3? Do we see a similar performance as we did in week 2? Or does it revert back to week 1? Is it somewhere in the middle? Like, I can't wait to see what the offense looks like, with Dana Holgorsen calling plays for the third straight game.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be fascinating to see how much, and it'll be interesting to see how much the weather impacts. It's not going to be super windy, and it's not going to be precipitation, although the ball is just going to be hard as a rock, so that always plays in to the whole thing. And the passing game is just naturally a little harder, but isn't going to be impossible by any means. But Josh, like, I think we are going to get amped up Dylan Raiola again. Here's why. I think this is the game. Why he came here, that he pictured when he came to Nebraska. I think part of the reason I think there are a lot of reasons he ended up coming here to Nebraska, but what among the reasons he came to Nebraska is his sights are set on being, a Patrick Mahomes like quarterback and being able to do what Mahomes and other quarterbacks have done in the NFL. And it's very clear if you were watching, football last night, if you were watching Patrick Mahomes last year, you were going to play in cold weather in the NFL. And I do think he wanted that experience. He wanted that on his resume, and especially against a rival on kind of a big national window, right at the end of the year when the team's had some success and he's already got his mojo going. I think he's going to be amped up. I think he's going to be back in that good headspace for this again that you saw him last week. And as we said and have talked about, when he seems to be in that right place, that right headspace, it really trickles down to the entirety of the team. And so that's part of the reason why I have some confidence about the offense, at least today.
That's interesting, man. I hadn't thought about it from that perspective, but you're right. I mean, Mahomes is playing in weather like this all the time, right? Like going into the playoffs, no matter which location the AFC is going to go through this year, with Houston dropping off a little bit, it's going to be in Kansas City. It's going to be in Buffalo. It's going to be in Pittsburgh. It's going to be in Baltimore. You're talking about cold weather, tundra type atmospheres, if you will.
He embraces it. Yeah,
he does. And like,
the Miami game last year, Josh, it looked miserable. The playoff game last year against Miami.
Exactly.
Kansas City.
Yeah. They went in there and they were not ready for it, and Kansas City was, and it was a reason among many. They also had the best player in the game that they were able to win and move on. And so you mentioned what you do with Dylan Raiola and like that confidence level. It seemed like it was back with him on Saturday versus Wisconsin. Certainly, he's healthier now. Given all of the work and the effort that he has put into becoming a healthier quarterback, he looked like a healthier player in their most recent game. Does he have that just a little bit more in him? Is he just a little bit healthier this evening versus Iowa? And if so, like, Jack, if he's a confident player, you would guess that the team is also confident. And so, like, that just going on down. Like when the Chiefs line up and play a football game, they always are going to believe that they're going to win because they have Patrick Mahomes. Like, Dylan Raiola is not that yet, but this can it can start. Yes, it could be a really big step because this would only be the second win versus Iowa since 2014. It would be the first win versus Iowa the Matt Rule era. And suddenly, Jack, in back-to-back games, they would have knocked off two teams that have essentially owned them for the last 12 years. And